Welcome back to the Everyday Faith Podcast from Eastside with today's faith-rooted principle. Hey there, welcome back. I'm Isaac Johnson. Today is Wednesday, August the 26th, and I want to encourage you with this today, and here's our rooted principle. Do not let anything deter you from regular attendance at your church. Don't let anything deter you from going to church, from being a part of church, of your local assembly of believers. Luke chapter number 4, verses 14 through 16, the Bible says this, "And Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit into Galilee, and there went out a fame of him through all the region round about. And he taught in their synagogues, being glorified of all. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and as he had custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up for to read." On the Sabbath day, as it was a custom. You know, it's right and it's normal for every child of God to be a regular attender of church. That's just as simple as it should be. The Bible describes going to the synagogue as Jesus, quote there, custom. And it was his habitual practice. You know, I was talking to someone this morning. You can always find an excuse not to go to church. And there's times when sickness and emergency may require us not to be at church and be away from God's people, but it should not be a normal routine. It shouldn't be habitual for us to miss church. And this person that I was speaking to today, they made this comment. He said, whenever that happens, I remind myself, whenever I'm tempted, maybe, I'm not feeling the greatest today. It would be nice just to kind of skip today, and it'd be nice to sleep in and not go to church. He said this, he said, I remind myself, what if Jesus, the day that he went to Calvary, he said, I just don't feel like it today. I think I'll not go to the cross. What if Jesus had said that? And, it kind of puts it a little bit in a different perspective if we think about it in that regard. But one of the greatest Christian businessmen, J.C. Penney, which I think there's still a few of those stores around, but J.C. Penney said, if a man's business requires so much of his time that he cannot attend the services of his church, then a man has more business than God intended him to have. Church is important. In fact, let me put it this way, church is essential. And we found that out during the 2020 pandemic of COVID, right? A church that provides sound Bible preaching and teaching, it's a vital resource for the Christian. It's a vital resource for your family and for your walk with God. The Bible frequently uses the metaphor of sheep for believers. And sheep are herd animals that usually can be found close together, and when they don't stray from the flock. Sometimes when they do, they often get disoriented and they get lost, and they find it hard to find their way back. When they get disoriented and when they get away from the flock, they get lost, right, and get in danger. And really, it's typical of us as people too. We need to guard our church attendance. Be aware that, hey, that's what helps us to grow stronger when we are in the pack, in the flock, so to speak, right? Beware of the strategies that the enemy uses to distract us from worship, to distract us from fellowship of God's people. There is no job. There's no promotion. Let me say this. There's no sports that are worth losing that connection and vital connection to other believers that comes with regular church attendance. Make church a habit. Don't let anything deter you from regular church attendance to your church. Thanks for joining us for today's Rooted Principle right here on the Everyday Faith Podcast. If today's conversation has encouraged you, be sure to share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to follow and subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time right here on the Everyday Faith Podcast.